today. We've had a little problem with the 1 Series. I've got to apologise if this video comes across a little bit disjointed because the accident happened. I've got it on dash cam. Let's see if we can show you that to start with. Nice snowy day, just coming a little bit too quick into the left hand corner. The back end stepped out and then bash onto the curb there. Ooh.
Oh dear.
And you can see there from the damage that we've got, that back wheel, the rear side of it is tucked in. It's bent it, well, bent the either the suspension arm or the subframe. The 1 Series, the BMWs, the rear wheel drive in the snow, always a little bit tricky. It's easy for these to slip about and bash the back wheels. So we've had to do a repair on this. Now, where do I start with all of this? The subframe at the back is what has took the brunt of this impact. The beauty of the dash cam, the footage that we got, I could see from it the exact point of impact, the exact angle, and the fact that only the rear wheel got bashed, not the front one. So we've not got to worry about four-wheel tracking and everything like that. As we go down the road now, the steering wheel is just slightly off centre. The steering is just slightly over to the right. It's not dead central. When it first happened, the wheel was that bent out that the steering wheel was almost half a turn out. So what I've done is I had to get this footage sort of a bit, like I say, it's a bit disjointed because I needed to do a repair on the car so we could use it. And then we're now going to finish off the repair and get it absolutely spot on. So let me go back to the beginning and show you what happened. So you can see there I've got the axle stand right onto that suspension joint there, just to prop everything up, and then I've got the jack onto the other side, onto the jacking point. We have got some wheel damage where it's whacked the rim there, but the actual wheel itself doesn't look like it's buckled. It looks pretty straight, which is a good thing. So the issue we got with that back wheel being canked right over, if we come and have a look underneath here, I'll show you what the problem is. Oop. So what you've got on this suspension, it's got a multi-link system on it, and the tie bar that comes from the main one at the back here, it goes from the hub, comes all the way across here, and then goes onto this suspension mounting on the subframe here. This is a subframe off the car, and you can actually see that part just sticking out there. It's a piece that's welded on the edge, so being the weakest link, and that's what's bent. And what it had done, it had actually pushed this bracket here that's actually welded to the subframe, it bent it round, because all the links were straight, yet we'd still got this problem. So it got to be a bent subframe issue. This is the Clark strong arm that I'm going to use to ram that bend out of the subframe. It's a fantastic bit of kit. So with the strong arm, it's just a ram, hydraulic ram, and as we can lock in the jack, and as I jack it, you can see the ram just comes out there. So we'll get that up and in between these two here, jack it out, and let's see how we get on, see if we can push it out. So back to this picture of the subframe again, and you can see these 2 points where these rear arms connect to on the back of this rear section. That's where I've got the ram between. So what I've done is put the strong arm, just wedged it between the 2 mounting points there, pumped it out, and actually forced this back out again, and it's moved about 10 mil probably, and now the wheel is nearly perfect. We're almost there. I've just got to do it up on the maximum adjustment, because also what you've got on these arms here is it's got a cam on it, a little offset cam. So as you turn the bolt at the back, it rotates the cam round and actually alters the length of that tie bar. So let's get it to maximum on here, and then we'll do it up. So I think we've just got to go just a fraction more. I'm running out of power on all my torches, bless. So maximum on that is about, it's about there, I do believe. The most eccentric point of that cam is just there. So let's now do, we can do that up at that point there. So let me ratchet up. And let's lock this up here. This lock nut is on the back, the adjustment is on the other side. This is the lock nut on the end here. So if we get this up nice and tight, while it's still under tension, well, I've got the ram in there, it's still pushed right up. Let's lock that up like that. Get the ratchet off the back as well. The nut on the back of that tie bar there, it's one of these E sockets, which this one is in fact a that's the E14, that one, so it's quite a big one. And as you can see now, we're almost straight with that. She's almost there compared to the other side. We're about the same both sides now. So I can't ram this out any further. That's as far as it's letting me go without bending the other side. So it looks like it's almost there. And you can see from this picture, this is the straightened out piece on the back of that subframe. It's not in too bad shape. That's what it looked like if it was new. And obviously we're not quite there, but it's close. Well, to me, that doesn't look far wrong there. I think we've about got that where we need it. Let's get it off the jack and see what it looks like on the deck. So release the jack there, we'll get it down, move my torch out of the way. Yeah, so that's this side down. Let's go around the other side and get that one off the axle stand. We'll just jack it up, get it off the stand, and then get it down. So this is fully adjusted and straightened as best we can. Let's just see how it is. It's going to be close. It really is. We'll lower that down and let's see what it looks like when it's under load and under the weight of the car. That's better. That's better. Today's job is to set the track in. Now, after the repair on the subframe, we've managed to get it almost perfect, but there's just a slight bit of flex in there. I don't want to go too mad by forcing it with the ram. We don't need to, because we can buy these adjustable tie bars, which are absolutely fantastic. So you'd normally see them on a, like an M3 kind of, if you wanted to fully adjust your rear suspension, set things up. If you've done some major modifications on the back of the car, you'd put these adjustable tie bars on. I'll go and get them and show you. So I managed to pick up a set of these off of eBay, brand new. They're made by a company called Gravity, and they're an absolute delight. You get 2 of them in the box, and these are fully adjustable rear track rods, rear tie bars, call them what you like. They've got beautiful mountings on them, all sealed. Absolutely lovely, and you can adjust them out either side. So whereas on the original subframe you only get about probably 5mm of movement, which isn't a great deal, with these we're going to get absolutely loads, 3 or 4 times that. So it's going to be enough for us now to get that tracking exactly right where we need to be. The reason I know I need to get it a bit more is we're just not quite there. We're not quite there. When we're driving down the road now, the steering is just slightly off centre. Let's get the string line out and we can probably just show you a bit more in a dimension as to what's going on. You can perform tracking with a bit of string. You don't need to go on these 4-wheel tracking equipment. It is possible to do it just with a piece of string. Let me show you what I mean. What I'm going to do is go around all 4 wheels, low down enough that it doesn't get caught on the body. Let's go for it. I'll start at the front here. I'll just tie this round the wheel so that it's got something to go on. I'll just pop it round there like that. And what I'm wanting to do is to get this at a point, like I say, that doesn't hit any of the bodywork. So let's go all the way around the car with the string line. The front bumper doesn't really affect things, but we do need a clear run front to back, so the front wheels to the back wheels need to be missing the side skirts and the doors. Right, let's show you what we've got. So at the minute when we drive down the road, the steering is slightly over, like it is in the car here. So you can see at that point there, the steering is just slightly over to the right. It's not dead central. And if we come to the car and have a look at a string line, you'll see where the issue is. So on this front line, we're looking at this string here. It's touching the front of the wheel there. It's away from the wheel at the back there, and it's touching front and back on that wheel there. Let's go back inside and set the steering wheel to where we want it to be, or where it was before we actually crashed it, which is dead straight. So let's have a look at the string line again. So the string line is touching the front. We've got the gap at the back, and we're touching on this side, both sides of the wheel. If we come around the other side, okay, this is the good side. We can see we've got string line touching the front of the wheel. It's so close there, it's almost touching the back of that front wheel there. And at the back, we've got touching on front and back. So that is what we need at the other side. All we're aiming for is parallels. As you can see, the gap we've got here is far too big, and we know the only reason that is like that is because the back wheel is holding it out. You can actually see there, when you look down the line, the one thing that's pulling that away from the wheel there is this front edge. This front edge here is just sticking out too far. So in effect, the wheel, as it was bent really far back, we've just not quite got it all the way out. If I put those adjustable arms on, we can adjust the back out of the wheel slightly more, which will force this in and make everything absolutely perfect. So I hope that gives you a visual of what we've got to do. So we'll jack the car up to start with. We'll get the jack under the jacking point, which is that plastic noggin just there. Let's get it up in the air. We can get the axle stand and drop it underneath that. And put the suspension arm just there. So we'll drop the axle stand right underneath that suspension arm there, and then we'll lower that down onto that. We're getting it right on the metal bit where it's got some strength behind it. If you put it on that thin bit, obviously it will bend. And then we'll get the jack on the other side. You can drop a couple of chocks under the front wheels just so that it doesn't roll. And get the safety lock on. I ain't going nowhere. So all we're looking at on this is just getting this out by about another millimetre. It's not a lot. And now you can actually see what we're interested in, which is this. This is the arm here that we're going to replace. And you can actually see that a bit more clearly now. So I mean, to replace this, we're just going to take off this one 17mm bolt here. That's the arm there, and you can actually see now that is the part that's bent, that we've straightened out. Almost got it right. Once we change out these two link arms both sides and we can fully adjust them, then we can get it absolutely perfect. So you can see now, this is what we're going to be replacing, this unadjustable or very slightly adjustable one with this new fully adjustable track rod arm there, a tie bar. Look at that, that's going to be absolutely stunning. It's going to look really nice. Okay, we've got the railer sockets here. Let's see what size we got going on. Oh, there it is. It is an 18mm socket on that side. So let's whack that out to start with. I've got the Milwaukee impact gun on there. We'll bang that off. I'll put links in the description for all these tools and stuff that I'm using to do the job. That's that one off. We'll do the same with the one on the other side. Okay, and then we just got it. We'll get the washer off the end, and this is that eccentric washer. And then we can push that through. Let's get this through and out the back. I'll put the socket on it first. The other side is an E14 on the other side, so we'll get that on there as well. That's that one out of there. You can see that it's got that nice big cam on the end of it for the adjustment. Okay, that's that out. And now we can release the arm out of here now. Like so. And there it is, there's the old one. So what we've got to do now is match these up. Okay, so rather than starting completely from scratch, what we can do is use the old one and get the new one. We can match those up and you can see straight away the adjustments out on that. So we'll extend this out equally both sides, and then all we need is an extra, like I said, it'd be about another millimetre to get this in the right position. So let's crack these off and we can adjust these out, look. So we'll adjust both sides out until we get where we need to be. I can put the bolt through one side to lock that through and into the old one, and then we'll do the same with a bolt in this, so when we get there we know we're about right. So there's lovely adjustment in the middle, it's absolutely super. Okay, so that is now, that is the length of the old one. So all we need, like I say, is an extra millimetre on that. We can do this fine adjustment once we've got the car back on the ground, but we can get it, like I say, almost perfect. We'll spin these lock nuts. What we need to do is just get that out of there and then do an extra turn. I'm going to go for that there. Is now being the correct length, because that now won't go back in. And it's just fractionally longer than it was. So let's get that bolted back on the car. I'll leave this loose so we can just do a final adjustment once it's on. So it'd be nice to get the right in the right way around, so I'm going to go for the gravity just there. We'll slide that end in first, get that into position. We can drop that one in, get that started on there, like that, so that's not going to fall off now. We'll slide this bolt back through from the rear. Make sure we locate that into the cam guide on the back. We'll get us an adjusting washer on the front. Can you get his nut on the back? And we want to go maximum on this because that's where we left it. So let's go for that. Which is just there, like that. So now we can do this side up. Okay, so we've got the cam fully adjusted over. And then we can lock this off now. Just make sure that side's good as well. And then we'll whiz this right up. Just get it nice and tight. Yeah, that's got it. And we can taz this end up as well. I used the Milwaukee ratchet to power this one up. It's a cracking bit of kit. Again, I'll put the links in the description. Look at the power of that. It's absolutely brilliant. I'll lock that one off. Fantastic. How nice is that? That's luscious, isn't it? So this one's on nicely. We've still got those two adjusters loose so we can tweak that when it's back on the deck. Let's whiz the other side over, get that changed, but we're not going to make any adjustments. We're going to get that exactly the same size as what the original bar was because we know that side's good. Right, let's whiz it over. So let's have the bottom one off first. Just that one out of the way. Before we remove this one, we've just got to mark exactly where the cam is on it because we don't want to knock out the adjustment. So we'll just scribe a line at the bottom, down and down. Now we can see exactly where that cam is, where it lined up to when we're putting it back on again. If we get everything exactly the same, we can't go wrong. I'll use the I've got the old wibbly wobbly for the universal joint for the air gun, well, for the electric gun even. I can get that on there then. I'll whack that off. Grab it on the back. That's that off. Now we can get that bolt through. And out the back, get the washer off. Front. Push that through and have that arm away now. There it is. And like we did on the other one, we'll get these exactly the same size as well. Pop that through there and get it lined up. We'll take that round, get it to the right size until that flips in there. Nearly there. Yeah, there it is. So we're perfect now. That's exactly the right size. We can spin these locking nuts up and then lock them into place, holding that where it needs to be. Okay, right, let's go for this then. I'll get my grips onto that. Okay, and then you can hold that with those and lock that into place. That's one done. And the same with this side. There we go. Now that is exactly the same size as the old one. We'll release that from that and get it on the car. And again, we'll get it looking nice and pretty with the writing in the right direction. And slide that in there. Can slide that bolt back through. There we go. That's that through there. And we'll get that located back where we need it to be. Get the other bolt for this side, so we'll get that in as well. So the beauty of this new link bar as well, the mounting bushes are different. There's no lateral side movement in these ones. They're a much better quality than the rubber bush that was on the original arms. That's that one done. And like we said about the cam again, got to get that cam right in the right position on there. Get that washer on in the right spot, just there. Yeah, look at that, lovely. Yep, that's good. Right, so that's that link arm changed out as well. Now we can get the wheels back on again and get it on the deck. Bolts in there, and then we'll have a look at the two just to compare it before I put it down. I might be able to just make sure that we're about right. So if I just go at it with a string line again, just while it's up in the air, let's just see what we get, what kind of results we can see. That's a massive difference there already. Massive difference. So in that position, comparing the two, I've just gone fractionally too far on that back. We'll just adjust that out a tad. So you can see the string line there. I'm aiming to just get that to touch. Oh, look at that adjustment now. There's so much adjustment on this. It's brilliant. Just means we can get this absolutely perfect. Look at that coming in there as I turn this. Just a tiny bit more. There. Super, let's lock that up. Obviously the other thing we've done is check the wheel bearing for play, and had it have damaged it or we'd have to replace it. I have got the video on that. There's another link, I'll put it in the description, but this one is okay. It's not damaged the wheel bearing, luckily. So we'll get these wheel nuts wound back in again, get that all set up. Get it down off the jack. We'll move the car, take it for a spin, and see what it's like. So I just moved the car backwards and forwards a little bit, minding the dog, and just let it settle down. The car will drop as you move it about a little bit. You can see from that it's looking nice. Okay, let's do it and let's see what happens when we get it down the road. We've got the dog in, the dog wanted to come for a ride as well. We're not going far though, we're just checking it out and see what's going on. That looks pretty good to me already, I can see there's a big difference there. Oh, she's as sweet as a nut, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely straight as a die. Get it in there, look at that. Perfect, absolutely beautiful. So I'm well pleased with that. I'm well pleased with that. If you've enjoyed that video, if it's been of any use to you, we've managed to sort it out and save that rear subframe. You know, we didn't need to replace it, which would have been a massive expense. And she's driving absolutely gorgeous. That's as good as gold. We're absolutely straight. Because of that dash cam footage, I could tell that it was just the rear suspension that had been hit. We could tell the angle, and it meant that we could use the string tracking to get it absolutely perfect, because we'd got 3 other good wheels to go from. So yeah, in that respect, it was good. And those gravity arms, I'm really impressed with them. Really good quality for £129 for the pair. You know, yeah, very impressed, very impressed. I'll drop links into everything. All the links will be in the description. Drop me some comments. Always love your comments, and like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.